Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey. Let's chat some rumors here around the Cowboys, specifically Leighton Vander Esch. And is a trade going to happen in the immediate future, or even this offseason? I'm going to give it the 1 star. I don't think it's likely, but I'm not going to rule it out. Now, Jane Slater says that the Cowboys, teams have called them. They've got interest in LVE, but Dallas wants to keep him for the short term and the long term. We will come back to the long-term side of things here. But there is an argument to be made, both for and against, trading Leighton Vander Esch. For starters, on the trade side, it frees up playing time after the Cowboys overhauled their linebacking core. And might I remind you, drafted 2 players who actually fit pretty well together in your base package long term. I don't really believe the Cowboys when they say we really want to keep LVE long term. Cheap? Sure. Expensive? No, because you've committed to Micah Parsons, you've committed to Jabril Cox, and you signed Dan Quinn's boy, Neal, this offseason. And Neal and Cox are both very talented coverage linebackers. That's what made Cox so appealing. That's what made Neal so intriguing as a weak side linebacker, a role that I think you'll see Leighton Vander Esch play a decent amount of this season. So on third downs, you might not have a role for Leighton Vander Esch. With 5 guys that you kind of want to play, at least somewhat at the linebacker position, and knowing you're only going to play 2 linebackers like 65, 70, 75% of the time, to find that up amongst 5 guys is not that easy to do. So with that in mind, I want you guys to rank Leighton Vander Esch among Cowboys linebackers. It's probably 1 to 5. Maybe there are some Luke Gifford, Francis Bernard truthers in the comment section, but probably 1 to 5. Rank Leighton Vander Esch where you think he stacks up among current Cowboys linebackers. Now, 2018 LVE unquestionably is number 1. 2019-2020, especially down the stretch last year, I thought Jalen Smith outplayed him. Now, the injuries were, of course, a major contributing factor there for Leighton Vander Esch, and I'm optimistic in the end that he'll end up bouncing back a little bit here. I think that optimistic part is a key factor in this conversation. If you trade Leighton Vander Esch, you're not going to get that much back for him. The value of Leighton Vander Esch is at an all-time low. Now, if you could get a 3rd-round pick or a potential starter for LVE, let's trade him, baby. We can make our defense better. Help us out for the future. I think, though, in the end, the actual trade value for LVE right now, coming off the injuries, 1 year left on his deal, bad back-to-back seasons, I think the value, maybe a 5th-round pick, somewhere in that range. And if you were to trade Leighton Vander Esch, as a reminder here, you're now down to 4 linebackers that you like. And if one of those were to get hurt, well, now you're down to 3. So I think any potential trade of a player of an LVE caliber, even really anybody on this roster, barring an incredible offer by somebody, unlikely right now, is to wait much longer. If Jabril Cox balls out in camp and in the preseason and is just demanding he gets on the field because he's too good, maybe you trade LVE then. But if hypothetically, Neal gets hurt in the preseason, well, then now you're glad you kept LVE. So I think right now, the answer is keep him. Long term, it's a potentially different conversation. But get your votes in for me. What do you guys want to do with Leighton Vander Esch? Type in T for trade or type in K for keep. Get your votes in the comments section right now. Let's talk Ezekiel Elliott now. Namely, will he have a bounce-back season? I'm giving this 3 stars. I think it's pretty likely, in large part because, well, he's got to be better, right? He was not good last year. There's really no way around it from that perspective. Now, he's coming off a bad year. 4 yards per carry, plus the fumbles, out of Ezekiel Elliott is not the guy the Cowboys paid. Frankly, that is an unacceptable level of production from the Cowboys' highly paid running back. Now, this rumor comes to us from Todd Archer, who says Zeke's got that chip on his shoulder. He thinks that Zeke's going to finish top 3 in the NFL among rushers this year. And I want that to happen because my ideal role for Zeke Elliott, with the way this offense is built, is as your closer. He comes in fairly fresh and grinds out the clock in the fourth quarter when you're already up. Now, they're not going to be able to do that every single game, of course, but I think that role is a good thing. And if Zeke's among the NFL's leaders in rushing yards, that probably means the Cowboys' offense had a very good season. And the problem here for Zeke is a bit of a regression overall. Now, 2017, again, it was the suspension, so the volume of games is down there, but 1,631 yards, 983, and then 2018, 19, and 20. That is a very obvious decline, and that's even more obvious when it comes to the yards per carry. His average has dropped by a full yard since his rookie season. Now, make no mistake about it, especially compared to the 2016 offensive line, it's not nearly as good, and last year they were so decimated by injuries. There's only so much the running back is able to do, which is the whole conversation about, paying a back, et cetera there. But with 17 games this year, I think with a healthier offensive line too, you should be able to see Zeke have a good bounce back year. Is he going to become, 2,000 yards Zeke? Probably not. But I think this is a pretty fair over-under for him. So get your votes in. Let me know what you guys think. Over or under 1,200 rushing yards for Zeke Elliott. Type in O for over or type in U for under. Now, I mentioned that offensive line, right? And the reality is that the offensive line is essential to the running back. That is just how the NFL works. As we saw last year, if your offensive line has one starter from the start of the year, I'm not really counting the center spot, by the way, because both guys missed time, which was Connor Williams, and you're playing Terrence Steele and Brandon Knight and Connor McGovern, and you're down to offensive tackle 4 and 5 for most of the year, well, you're not going to have as much success on the ground. That's just the reality of life in the NFL as a running back. And I thought in particular Zeke Elliott last year did a fantastic job of turning -1, -2 yard gains into 0 or 1 or 2 yard plays. I do want to still see more big plays that don't result in fumbles, but I think a better offense line will lead to more success and production out of Zeke. And of course, there's also this part. The return of Dak Prescott. Having Dak Prescott at quarterback makes every single piece on the offense better. The receivers are going to have more catchable balls. The offensive line is going to be in a better spot because the quarterback is just smarter, more aware of the pressure, gets the ball out quicker. And, of course, defenses won't load the box as much or key in on the run as much as they used to do when it was Andy Dalton or Garrett Gilbert back there. So getting healthier around Zeke Elliott, I do believe, will lead to a breakout or a bounce-back year for him in 2021. Speaking of big-time years, how about CeeDee Lamb, the guy we were all so happy the Cowboys actually drafted? Well, his jersey's on sale right now for just $80. Check the comments section and the description. That link right there at the bottom of your screen. It's chatsports.com/CeeDee jersey. They are $80. Both styles you just saw right there. So go get yours today at chatsports.com/CeeDee jersey. Speaking of CeeDee, by the way, and the Cowboys' entire receiving core and tight end core, is it elite? 4 stars on this one. I think only the most haterade-fueled non-Cowboys fans would disagree with this. Now, Pro Football Focus put together their top receiving cores in the NFL, both wide receivers and tight ends, by the way. The Bucs were 1, Cowboys 2, Chiefs 3, Bills 4, Vikings 5. By the way, quick aside, they did not count Julio Jones on the Falcons, which was weird because they didn't count him at all, but whatever. I think your top 3, I think for the most part, you'd find some semblance of agreement there. The order might be debated. Bucs, Cowboys, Chiefs. Tampa is so obscenely deep at both wide receiver and tight end, I think they got to be number 1. Chiefs have the top end guys, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Their depth a bit unproven, though. So where do you rank the Cowboys there? I would say top 3. Now, you can argue 2. Some of you might argue 1. I'd put the Bucs at number 1 myself, though. But the Cowboys, I think, unquestionably, have one of the best wide receiver and tight end cores in the NFL. So get your votes in. Where do you guys rank the Cowboys unit amongst the entire NFL? I mean, look, your receivers, your big 3 is up there with any big 3, including tight ends, frankly, in the NFL of Cooper, Gallup, and Lamb. And I'll list Blake Jarwin as the starting tight end for now at least. But you've also got, Cedric Wilson. You've got Noah Brown, Simi Fehoko, I'm pretty high on there. And I also want to make note of Dalton Schultz, because very much under the radar in a not great start, which is me being very generous, by the way, start from Schultz, he finished the year with 63 grabs for 615 yards. That's actually really good production out of, in reality, your fourth target. Gallup still had more, but a lot of those were deep shots, and that's just not Dalton's game straight up. So I think second, third, whatever, this is one of the best units in the NFL. Helps in having Dak Prescott help feature that unit even just a little bit more, but I like where this unit is at, and I give Pro Football Focus credit. I don't always agree with them. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes I just don't get what they're going for there. But I think that unit for the Cowboys is damn good.